Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira from Munira's Music. Welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. Our guest today is all the way from Florida. Welcome, Naresh, to our show.
Hello, thank you. Pleasure to be on.
You know, folks, that this is a show where we highlight entrepreneurs and we spotlight them into telling us what their secret to their niche is. And one of the things is that when you like our show, you can always figure out what makes these people's boats float and what keeps them going. So our guest is a author, a podcaster, and he's done several different things. He's pretty young and he's done several different things. So we want to know what and how he became an entrepreneur. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself, Naresh.
I'm the founder and CEO of Krish Media and Marketing. The company is now 10 years old. It's a work from home company. It's a small business. We're not a big corporation or anything like that. We are a digital marketing agency, so we offer services that have to do with online and digital business. I'm talking services like web design, web development, search engine optimization, online reputation management, podcast production, ebook publishing. The list goes on and on and on. The website is Krish, K-R-I-S-H, mediamarketing.com, krishmediamarketing.com. I'm also, as you can call it, a side venture. I'm a real estate investor and real estate investment coach. So I help people invest in real estate, and I also invest in real estate myself. I got into it through Krish Media and Marketing. We had many clients in the real estate space, and I learned about real estate investing and started buying single family homes with whatever money I had left over. So on top of my business background, I'm also a stay-at-home dad to two kids, very young boys. Have a great time doing that. I'm the host of the Work From Home Show, which is a podcast that talks about anything and everything work from home related, health, wellness, children at home, etc. So that's a quick 2-minute overview of my professional background.
That's awesome. So I was reading your bio, and you say you graduated from Duke University. So what did you study there?
I did a master's degree there at their business school, the Fuqua School of Business.
Okay, so business. Why was business a big thing in your life?
I actually. So I didn't grow up in like a business family. I just developed an interest in business, I think, around middle school time. It's I don't know, maybe I was born that way, but it actually came from sports. I was a huge sports fan, and I became interested in like players and their contracts and salaries, and then marketing, like how the players are marketed, endorsement deals that they did. That's what sucked me into business, and I started reading about like sports agents, representing players, just entertainment in general. So that got me interested in like marketing, because even within business, I would say I do more marketing. I do a lot of finance too, but I do more marketing. And so when I went to college and graduate school, I liked studying. I liked having fun too, but I liked studying as well. So I had 6 different concentrations, undergrad and graduate school, and most of it was business related. So it was management, business, finance, accounting, public communications, and broadcast and digital journalism. Those are the 6 fields that I majored in or got degrees in undergrad and graduate school. And so you'll see everything's like media and business related. So those are my two interests, or were my two interests when I was in my late teens and my early 20s. And then I worked at combined them both, worked at a financial marketing, financial media company. And then when I started Krish Media and Marketing 10 years ago, I was able to combine all my different specialties and background. Now, I didn't say marketing anywhere. I don't have a degree or anything in marketing, no concentration. That's something I picked up while working full time on the job at a financial media, financial marketing company.
So
So
you've been in corporate world, right? You've worked for corporate. And
yes,
then
yes,
when
yes.
did you start thinking, okay, I need to be an entrepreneur. I'm just going to just quit the corporate world. Have you quit? First, the question is, have you quit the corporate world?
I quit the corporate world 10 years ago in 2013. And yes, I worked in the corporate world. I worked for a big Wall Street bank. I worked for probably the largest financial marketing company in the world. And then in 2013, I started Krish Media and Marketing. And I would say in like late 2014, after about a year and a half of Krish Media and Marketing, I told myself, I'm not going back to get a regular job. I'm not going to be like a full-time in the office corporate type of person, because things were going pretty well on my own. And so that's what I decided. And corporate, look, it has a lot of pluses. It's for many people, but it certainly was not for me or my personality. I just had bigger goals and bigger dreams.
That's awesome. So you decided, and what was your first business? I mean, is this
Yeah.
Krish Media was your first business? Is it still going on, right?
Yeah, well, you asked, yeah, of course it's still going on. We're 10 years in, but you asked like, why did I decide to do it, or how or when did I decide to do it? I actually started uh not officially, but unofficially, I got started when I was still in school, because I was studying all these things. I met different people and they're like, hey, why don't you intern for my company, or why don't I give you some work to do, and I'll pay you for it. So that's how I started building up clientele while I was in school. And even while I was working full time, I had this like side thing. And then by 2013, after about 5 years of doing this on the side, I said I can pursue this full time easily. And it was a lot easier, because when I was working a corporate job, I could only have one job. Like I could do this side thing, but I could only have like one main job. But when I started Krish Media and Marketing, now all of a sudden it's like I could have 5 or 6 different jobs, because I didn't work for a single company. I now worked for many different clients. And so I was able to scale that way, because when you have a full-time job, you're locked into one job only. You can't really do anything else. So I was able to scale my clientele just by going out on my own.
That's great. So you obviously like what you do, because you're in 10 years.
I do love what I do. I absolutely love what I do, because I see the true fruits of my labor. Like my work actually, like I can show you like a portfolio of work that I've done, or send you to websites that we've created, or businesses that we've helped. So I feel like I'm having a true tangible impact. It's also great to create my own schedule. Here we are early in the morning recording this podcast, and it's not like I'm getting ready trying to go into an office. I knew my schedule. I dropped my older one off at school early, and then I came home. I mean, if I had to go into an office with a full-time job, I wouldn't be doing this interview right now. I wouldn't be doing any interviews right now. So there's a lot of freedom, and then the pay on an hourly basis is definitely, I keep more of what I work for, let's put it that way. Whereas when you work at a company, you'll be lucky to keep 10 to 15% of what you're generating for the company. Most people are only making maybe 2 to 3% of what they're generating for the company, whereas I'm keeping over 90% of what I generate. So it's pretty strong. Actually, not 90, maybe 70 to 80, because I have a team that helps me out. It's not just me. I have independent contractors, part-time people who do a lot of the work as well.
You wrote a lot of books. When do you have time to write books? I see 6 books that you've written.
Yes. I it's been a while since I published one, so I'm working on my next 3 or 4 books, but it's been over 4 years. And so to answer your question, where did I have the time? I wrote most of them before I got married. Before I had kids, before I got married. But I am working on 4 different books right now, and I will start publishing again. I brought up that I do have a background in broadcast and digital journalism, in writing and speaking. That's why I have my own podcast. That's why I'm an author. So I'm looking forward to coming out with more books. As far as where do I find the time? Look, the greatest tool that I use is just my phone, because I get inspiration at random times and then I just start writing on my phone. And then I translate and convert whatever I write into a chapter. So that's how I do a lot of my writing. It's on the phone. Outside of that, if I just find any time at all, I'll try to knock out some writing. I'll try to knock out, like if my wife is off and the older kids in daycare or school, then I'll try to knock out a chapter or two. So that's how I do it.
Perfect. So tell us, we are here to inspire entrepreneurs. There are some people who are still on the sideline trying to figure it out, not jumping into the sea of entrepreneurship, although they like to wade their toes in and not doing anything. Some people are entrepreneurs, they call themselves entrepreneurs, but haven't done anything. Let's talk about marketing a little bit. You are good in marketing. What do you tell entrepreneurs about marketing themselves, and how should they do it? Give us a few tips.
So marketing yourself is different from just marketing a business or marketing a product. So I wrote a book called 50 Shades of Marketing: Whip Your Business into Shape and Dominate Your Competition. This book is a primer on online and digital marketing. It's now almost 8 years old. It came out in 2015. So it is a little older. But with that being said, the book is all about the tools, the resources, the research, the data that talks about marketing, and also actual like how to market, like why you should market, tips and strategies that you should do to market. The absolute biggest recommendation I have is to understand the concept of direct marketing. So direct marketing is merely the idea of directly reaching the consumer. So for example, if you go out on Twitter and you tweet something, are you directly reaching your consumers? And my answer would be no, you're actually not. You're just posting something on social media and hope that it reaches consumers. There's a difference between hoping and directly reaching consumers. So what are some examples of directly reaching consumers? TV commercial. But then again, it gets a little hazy, because then it's okay, well, are the people actually watching the commercial, or are they going to their kitchen when the commercials play and missing the commercial entirely? Or are they fast forwarding through the commercial? So what else would be another way to directly reach? Email marketing, that's still number one. Email marketing, you have a list of email addresses, and when you send something off to those email addresses, it is being delivered to their email inbox. There's also snail mail, just regular direct mail, sending flyers or whatever to someone's mailbox. That's another way to do it. The problem with that's very old school. People tend to just throw away anything that might look like spam or anything that looks too promotional in the mail. But hey, it works for a lot of people. So these are examples of direct marketing. If you're looking to market a product, you want to think, okay, how can I directly reach my customers or my consumers or my followers? So I think that's number one. And this podcast is a perfect example of direct marketing, because here you are, you have this podcast, you're probably on like Apple Podcasts or whatever, you're on Facebook, you're doing Facebook Live. So exactly how many people are watching you right now. And so if you wanted to promote something, you can directly reach them right now.
That's awesome. So you talk about marketing and writing books, and so which one is the most effective one? If it's an entrepreneur starting out, you have so many arms. I feel like you're an octopus, and then you have to market yourself. You have to market your business.
You
You
have to
have
do
to write a
everything.
book.
You have to write a book. You have to start a podcast. You have to handle your finances and your accounting and your bookkeeping and your HR, and you have to do everything. But when it comes to marketing, I think the focus, this is another important business topic. It's focus. It's what is focus and the importance of focus in business. So focus, of course, is your like psychological definition of just being mentally disciplined. But in business, focus is concentrating and focusing on the right things. A lot of entrepreneurs and business people, they focus on the wrong things and they're wasting time and resources by doing that. Instead, you want to focus on the right things. And so what
So
do I
how,
mean by that?
yeah, how do you
Yes.
differentiate?
So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. Let's say you have this big $100,000 marketing budget and you run campaigns on Facebook, on Twitter, email, influencers, Instagram, Facebook ads, Google PPC, pay-per-click, advertise. You run campaigns and then you come out with a pie chart at the end to look at, okay, this is how much return I got on each of these channels, not how much I spent, but the actual return I got, right? So you want to be tracking this and you come out with a pie chart, and let's say the pie chart, it's created on Excel, and you see that, oh, 70% of the leads I generated came from email marketing, and everything else was just kind of 5%, 6%. So what that pie chart tells you is email marketing had the greatest return on investment, it had the greatest result. So how can we apply focus to this situation? This situation tells us that our focus should only be on email marketing. The other stuff, we can do it if it's like free. So, we can go on Facebook and Twitter and post stuff, reach our audience. It's free. There's not much cost, but our focus should be on email marketing only. That's what I mean by focus in business, because many entrepreneurs, especially ones who are just getting started, they don't focus. They're thinking, oh, I need to write a book and I need to do this podcast and I need to do Facebook and Twitter and all these different things, without even running this experiment or this test, without testing to see, hey, what's the number one way to grow? How can I best get how can I get the best bang for my buck? And then you run that test and then you figure it out, and then you focus only on those one or two things. That's what I mean by focus in business.
That's awesome. This is so wonderful. And you're sharing a lot of nuggets. So for somebody who is still standing on the sideline, hasn't thought, is thinking about entrepreneurship, hasn't done anything yet, what would you tell them?
Well, first off, are you cut out to be an entrepreneur? Can you deal with I'm only talking about, this all sounds great when you hear me, but I would say most of the time you're dealing with downs. You're dealing with, oh, can I make enough money this month? Oh, I just lost a client. Like, what do I do? Do I go back and get a full-time job? How do I get more clients? That's a number one issue for entrepreneurs. It's how do I get more customers? How do I get more clients? It's, again, marketing. That's like the biggest problem they have. Getting started, if you're mentally ready, you can get started today. That's how easy it is. We live in a time now, it's not the 1980s where you had to go through all sorts of hoops. It's easier than ever to start a business because of the online and digital space. Easier than ever to incorporate a business. Easier than ever to set up a business bank account, to just go online and sell a product, create a product and sell it. We have all the tools, the resources, the platforms online to do this. So anyone who says, oh, it's too hard to start a bit, no, you're just not cut out to be an entrepreneur, or you're just really lazy. But if you can overcome that, then it's, what are you waiting for? Today is the time, because you put things off, it never gets done, ever. So if you're listening to this, today is the day.
Perfect. Any last words? Any question that I should have asked that I haven't asked you?
No, I think you've asked a lot of great questions, and my final last words would be, there are 4 or 5 skills that every person, not just entrepreneur, needs to again, focus on or try to develop? Number one is focus, which we've talked about. Number two is leverage. So you want to build leverage. And what I mean by leverage, I don't mean leverage in finance where you're borrowing money. I'm talking about leverage in personal capacity. So leverage is building yourself up to the point where you are dictating which clients you want to take on. You are dictating your schedule, who you work with, who you don't want to work with. So how do you build up leverage? By building up all these other skills and by becoming a good marketer. That's how you can build leverage. So number one is focus. Number two is leverage. Number three is value creation. So if you can create value, you're always going to be valuable. You're always going to have a job. You're always going to have clients. So you want to think, okay, I want to start a business. I want to become an entrepreneur. But then the next question is, what value can you provide to where people will pay you money to execute a product or to execute a service or to build a product? So you need to think about what's valuable that I can bring to the table. Write it down. And if you can't write anything down, that probably means you don't have much value to offer. That probably means that during the next recession or during the next jobs downturn, which we're going through right now, you're probably going to be cut because you're not valuable. So focus, leverage, value creation, and number four, which is an offshoot of value, is skills. So you want to develop skills. I'm still developing skills. I've been in, like I said, 10 years into my business. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm still developing skills every day. And after I had children, those are an entirely new set of skills that I had to develop. And as the children get older, again, I'm going to be honing those skills. And the same thing goes in business. There's going to be new products, new technologies. 20 years ago, the world was very different. The business world was very different. And 20 years from now, again, it's going to be very different. So you have to keep up. You have to build your skill set. And that's why even with my kids, they're super young, but even with them, I'm constantly, all right, let's build up skill set. Let's build up skills, spiritual skills, mental skills, physical skills, emotional skills, tech skills. All these are incredibly, incredibly important, soft skills and hard skills. Because if you can build up if you can develop the passion for developing skills and for learning new things, once again, that's going to make you a better entrepreneur. And it's also going to make you all the more valuable so that you can build leverage.
So 4 things. So you said, can't read my writing now.
Focus, leverage.
Focus, leverage, value creation, skills, right?
Yes.
And you have to keep growing. That's one thing that I've learned in my business is you have to keep growing. You don't necessarily need to write a book overnight. You don't necessarily start a podcast every night, but you have to keep growing because you have to be better than you were yesterday.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for all these tips. Where can people find you, Naresh?
NareshVissa.com, NareshVissa, NareshVissa.com. Get on my mailing list. We talked about my book, 50 Shades of Marketing today. A lot of the topics we discussed are in that book. I'd be glad to offer a free copy of the book to your listeners. If they visit NareshVissa.com, contact me through there, and I'll send you a free copy of the book.
Perfect. I'm going to be on it. I want one of those, the 50 Shades of Marketing.
Absolutely.
I love the title. Thank you so much. Now where to find you, NareshVissa.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love this segment, this is coming from the heart of an entrepreneur who's done several different things. Go ahead and at least get the book. You never know what you're going to learn. And jump in if you're an entrepreneur on the sideline, because you never know what you can offer. Have a good day till we meet with another entrepreneur next week. We'll see you then. Bye. Thank you, Naresh.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group.